Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today will be potentially the final video in terms of the scheduled college football predictions. I've got the LSU Tigers today, one of my favorite teams. This is the closest thing I could get. This is the Barstool Sportsbook giveaway for, I forgot what game it was, but closest thing I can get to a LSU. So technically it was an LSU thing for Mega Making Money. So shout out Mega Making Money. But as for the Tigers themselves, coming off I guess I would say a good year last year, but also like a shocking year, right? I don't think many people really thought they were going to do much outside of obviously Baton Rouge. But that being said, they had a pretty good season. They made it to the SEC championship game. They beat Alabama at home in almost in overtime. Florida State game they almost had. They lost on the last second, came all the way back, and we're going to tie it up and go to overtime, but they did not make the extra point. I guess it was blocked would be a better term, the way to say it. But yeah, I think they're ready to build on it. Brian Kelly came in, did his thing. There's a lot of jokes about him doing that video around the circle, him faking a southern accent, but he came in and did very well. Obviously, getting the SEC championship game, for the first time in a very long time outside of the COVID year with, the god that is Joe Burrow. So looking at their recruiting, they were 6th in the country, 3rd in the SEC, but they would be 5th in the SEC if this was next year's recruiting cycle with with the Texas and Oklahoma coming in. They had 26 commits, 2 5-stars, 16 4-stars, and 8 3-stars. Those 2 5-stars would be Deshaun Womack from Maryland, Baltimore more specifically, 6'4", 240 D-end, or it says D-line, I think it's a D-end, but who knows, maybe D-tackle, but defensive lineman. And then the other guy was an offensive lineman, 6'6", 310, Zalance Hurd, Zalance, Z-A-L-A-N-C-E. So I don't know if it's Zalance or Zalance, but he's from Neville, so Monroe, Louisiana, staying in state. They have a few other guys on the defense, really working on the defense, because that LSU defense, when it's good, they're going. They brought a lot back on offense. Really, I'm trying to think. They lost B.J. Ojulari and Keishawn Butte with his whole fiasco that happened there. But he was back, and then he wasn't. Then he was back, then he wasn't. Then he was in the draft. So, but now he's officially gone. As for the transfer portal, they bring in a lot of guys here. 2 corners, one from Southern and one from A&M, Denver Harris and Zy Alexander. They also bring in another corner from Ohio State, J.K. Johnson, another corner, Deuce Chestnut. You can really see they're beefing up this defense here. Aaron Anderson's a receiver in from Alabama. Jordan Jefferson, a D lineman in from West Virginia. Logan Diggs, a running back from Notre Dame. Another D lineman, but this one is from Arizona. Paris Shand. They bring in Omar Spates, linebacker from Oregon State. They bring in an edge, Ovi Ogufu from Texas. And then they also bring in another edge, Braden Swinston from Oregon. And I believe that is all. Another offensive tackle from Maryland, Mason Lunsford. So other than that, they have a few people leaving at those positions. Most notable loss would be Walker Howard, the quarterback, going to Ole Miss. I don't even think he's going to start there. So we'll see how that all turns out. But I don't really know. As for their 2 pros on this board here, Mason Smith, 6'6", 310 defensive lineman. This guy is insane. Hurt his knee, I believe, celebrating in the first game against Florida State. I'm pretty sure that's him. He got like a sack or a tackle or something and then celebrated, and his knee exploded. So he's back to good health, which is great to see. And then Malik Neighbors. You'll hear his name a lot this year. He's their top receiver. As for their quarterbacks and running backs, they've got a good 1-2 punch of Josh Williams and Noah Cain for the running backs. And then their quarterback, Jayden Daniels. All right, this kid is him. I am so high on Jayden Daniels. I don't think we'll see him much in the pros, but he's going to be really good for college football. Obviously, he was an Arizona State guy, beat Michigan State, was his big coming out party, and then he transferred to LSU. Played exceptionally well last year and, helped lead them to how good they were, exceeding everyone's expectations. I think LSU had a win total of like 6.5 last year, and they finished with 10, including a bowl game win. Yeah, they had a bowl game win. They lost the championship game. But as for the rest of the team, a lot of continuity. The defense, they overhauled their secondary completely, like I told you. I'm looking at their corners here, and they've got, is that 9 corners listed. Only 2 of the 9 were on the roster last year. The rest of that is all coming in as new. Their edge position is all a bunch of freshmen and transfers as well. And it'll be interesting to see how that defense goes. When it comes to other stud players, Harold Perkins Jr. is the linebacker. This kid was a freshman last year and was all world. His coming out party was against Arkansas, where he was all over the field, multiple sacks, multiple fumbles. But throughout the season, he was just a menace. Super fast, super athletic, big bodied, everything you need in a modern day linebacker. Devin White, obviously he was there. He looks almost as good, if not better. I know that's crazy to say to a freshman, but it's unbelievable. He's all over the place. If the Heisman wasn't a fraudulent quarterback award, he would definitely be very, very high up there, because he makes these plays where you're like, whoa. Even if you're a casual, I remember I was watching, I believe it was the Arkansas. Yeah, it wasn't the Arkansas game. I think it was the Auburn game with one of my friends, and he's more of an NFL guy, and he's like, who's that guy? I want him on the Lions now. And I was like, that's Harold Perkins. He's a freshman. He goes, a freshman doing that? I'm like, yeah, dude, he's everywhere. So when you see number 4 flying around, that's, it's him. But as for their schedule now, we'll hop into that part of the thing. We have their same game this year, starting as they did last year. Also a neutral site. They are going to be facing the Florida State Seminoles. This one will be in Camping World Stadium in Orlando, as opposed to last year's in Baton Rouge. So it's, fake games. It was like if Michigan and Texas played, Texas played in Jerry's World and Michigan played in Ford Field, and they called them both neutral site games. It's neutral site. I've said that I'm not super high on the Florida State guys this year. I am, but I don't think that they're at the level LSU is, if that makes it sense. Even in the Florida State video, which I'll make sure hopefully to link, I really do have them being a force. So LSU will win that game. They'll then beat Grambling at home. Nice bye game. They get up to speed. Then they have Mississippi State. This one's going to be interesting. Okay, Mississippi State, they're playing at Mississippi State. It's a noon game, early game, so noon Eastern, so that's 11 Central. LSU always complains about not being able to get for those games due to all the off-the-field stuff and the tragedies regarding their coaching staff, clearly with Mike Leach passing away suddenly in the offseason. Who knows what's going to be happening there. They then have Arkansas at home. Arkansas is a damn good team. I love the under in that game because it's going to be a fast track meet with Rocket Sanders doing his thing. But I do think they'll take care of business there as well. At Ole Miss, it's always tricky with Lane. That'd be a great game to go to. Tickets only $80, excuse me. So I would love to go to that game if I could, man. The Grove is on my bucket list for sure. But I love my guy Lane. Don't get it wrong, but I don't think I see it happening there. At Missouri, another trap game, but if you're a team on LSU's level, you got to get through these games. So at the moment, they are 6-0 in my book. Home against Auburn. I haven't really had my thoughts on Auburn. Peyton Thorne's not good, but Hugh Freeze is really good, so you might make him not as bad, if that makes any sense. As for the rest of the stuff, I really do like what Hugh Freeze is doing. On the field, off the field, reprehensible, but on the field, I think he can get Auburn to turn around pretty quickly, but not this season. They then have Army at home, so a nice tune-up game because you have a bye week, and then after that you have at Alabama. That's your season, right? At Alabama is the season. I think they can do it. I think they can go into the eye of the tiger. That'd be theirs. They can go into the elephant's den, and they can go out there and they can get it done. I think they can. Another team, Alabama's going to run the ball, pound the rock is their thing. I don't even know if they're going to throw the ball even at all this year. They might just do a full Army-like thing, but I think LSU gets it done. I've got them undefeated right now, which is crazy. Then I have them playing Florida. They'll beat Florida at home. Florida's nothing to really worry about right now. We'll really see, though, if Florida's a good team or not by then, obviously. So that could change. Georgia State at home, the classic SEC, get ready for the real games thing. They'll win that as well. And then A&M at home. A&M at home is going to be a tough game, but again, if you're undefeated, you're going into it. I think they get it done and they clinch the division. I have them going undefeated in regular season. I didn't even realize I did that. That's kind of crazy. But obviously Alabama's their season. The winner of that's likely going to go to the college football playoff and likely the college football playoff and definitely the SEC championship game where they'll face Georgia and they'll lose. Okay, Georgia's going to beat them again. Unfortunately, it's just how it is. Georgia's really good. Carson Beck should be getting Heisman looks. That's just how it is. But 12-1 for the Tigers, and then they're probably in the playoff. I mean, I could see them being that 3 seed, right? Georgia 1, them 3, or Georgia 2, them 4, just kind of separating them apart. A Michigan LSU Rose Bowl. that would do some numbers, man. I love LSU. Great colors, great team, great people, Always want to get down there. I hopefully will in the next few seasons, but that's pretty much all I got for now. Let me know down below what you think, if you think the Tigers are back. Yeah, that's all I got for now. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Go Tigers!